Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sinking Ship Simulator. My name is Steven Marcateros, and I have some answers to some of your responses that you posted in the last video and the video before that. Now, the first things first, we need to go through this whole webcam deal. It's been a huge thing on this channel. Everyone's been asking for a webcam, alright? And I need some answers about the webcam. So, last episode and the episode before that, you actually said that the webcam quality was terrible, right? We dropped $70 on a fantastic little webcam here. This is the Logitech C920, if I remember correctly. It wasn't a cheap webcam. And so I expected to be getting some pretty darn good 1080p quality out of this thing, because I was like, holy crap, man, this thing better be pretty good for the amount of money we're dropping on it. And you guys were just like, no, the frame rate was awful. So I went into the settings, and I poked around with some of them Logitech stuff, and I realized that I accidentally had one of Logitech's patented software selected, like Rate Light or something, and it was reducing my frame rate, like a lot. I don't even know how much. I didn't actually measure it, but it looks significantly better now. Please tell me at least that. Go and check out my previous videos. Yeah, definitely isn't an advertisement for that, but you can compare the difference and see that this is very much obviously better than what we had before. Another thing I want to point out is that last episode, I noted how building the Titanic again felt strangely similar to a ship I had already made. And one viewer pointed out, I don't actually have the viewer here with me, I can't tell you. If I found the comment, I would read it. But it was that the Titanic that I had built was eerily similar to the Britannic, and that's kind of obvious, considering that they are the same line of ships. I don't remember what line of ships. I think it was the Olympic class from White Star Line that they constructed. So, yeah. So that's where that came from. That's why it looks similar. I'm really sorry I can't find your comment, but yeah, that's exactly that's why it looks so familiar to me. Was this section down here? And also 2 episodes ago, someone said that I should build the Empress of Ireland and the Empress of Britain, which are the ships that I'm going to demonstrate today. And I fear that I have already forgotten the difference between them and their stories, because fact checkers, get out your textbooks, because we're gonna go through some history today. I hate it when I have to say that, because I always know that I am just going to be maimed by the fact checkers and their humongous dictionaries. Alright, so this is the Empress of Ireland. I found a design of it on the internet for some methodology, and I actually sort of began to figure out how to make these masts, alright? I went a little bit thin on them in the past, so right here, I've made them thicker. They don't look as realistic, but they actually serve their purpose as masts now, which I think is an incredible improvement over giant wiggly structures that flop to the ground and essentially sank to the bottom of the ocean, because what else would they do? And so yeah, we came up with here, this is the Empress of Ireland. This ship, if I remember correctly, was sailing on the St. Lawrence River. Yes, it's that beautiful river that connects the Great Lakes out to the Atlantic Ocean. And it collided with another ship, and apparently what just happened was it started sinking. There wasn't time to seal the watertight doors. Some portholes were left open, so the thing listed to starboard, like, incredibly, and then filled with water, and people couldn't get out, and it sank so quickly that apparently a lot of people died, like 1,000, if I remember correctly. And mark my words, I believe, because I read on Wikipedia, that this is the largest peacetime maritime disaster to occur in Canada's history. I'm going to stand behind that statement, even if it's wrong. Even if you come at me and say, hey man, the Titanic was Canadian, I'm going to say, no, this was the worst disaster. So yeah, it's always beautiful why we always talk about people dying in these videos so much. I feel like the bringer of death a little bit, in bringing up all of these fatal accidents. But I guess, you know, it's good to remember this kind of stuff, you know, historically, to recall that, you know, there are terrible things that do occur in our history, and we do have to pay attention to that to not make the same mistakes. So if I'm pointing out anything to you, is that if you one day become a ship architect in the near future, it's that you should always remember to lock your portholes before you leave port. I think that's what I'm going with. That's the message here. That's what I want to stick with. That's what I'm going with. Another fantastic thing about these is that I actually got these done midweek, so it's kind of fun. Normally, the ships take a very long time to build, because these things are actually pretty decent detail. You know, I got to go in my art application, and I have to paint all this stuff out. So it's really awesome to get all these ships done, you know, right on time, pretty much. I think we missed a week. at some point. I'm not going to talk about that ever, but yeah, so it was nice getting these done, and then I'm going to work on whatever next week is quickly up here, so make sure you leave them recommendations down below, right down here in the, well, actually not, like further, like down below this little box that I exist in up here, like in the comment section, and tell me what ships you want me to build, because I'm starting to run out of things. I think you guys have posted some other stuff in the comment section, so I'll just have to parse through that and see what you want me to build next, because I'm always interested in doing that. One of the other things I wanted to ask you while we are currently watching the Empress of Ireland sink to the bottom of the ocean in a, majestic plight of the St. Lawrence River, only like 40 meters down. Oh, look, one of the masts actually broke off on its own. That's pretty cool. So yeah, one of the other things I wanted to ask you was, should I actually go through and make like a educational documentary video using this game, where I actually go through and I write like a speech and I do like a voiceover and like a live action thing with like a demonstration of where we actually get to sink kind of like a ship like this? Because I think that would be the coolest thing ever, and it just popped into my mind. So tell me if you guys actually want to see like a kind of like a live action-y, in video voiceover type documentary, like an actual like produced thing that would actually like be decent quality. I mean, decent quality, and is in the way that Dodge Them All completes thing, that kind of decent quality. So maybe not like super high quality, but super high quality. If there's one other thing that I do remember about the ship, it's that the captain of the ship never actually took blame, and so he's never said that it was specifically his fault for it, and he always blamed the captain of the other ship that kind of rammed them. And says it was his fault for the destruction of the ship. There we go. We had some comments last episode saying, why don't you actually let the ship go all the way down to the bottom of the ocean? Well, because most of what that actually is just watching the ship sort of collide into the bottom. And I'm not sure if in the grasp of this video you really want to watch a ship just disintegrate into the bottom of the sea. I guess I could ramp the strength up a little bit, and then we'd have less ramming and more sliding action going on here, so we can see that this is sort of is waving down a little bit more. Oh, one thing I just forgot, and I suddenly remembered that I think I just freaked everyone out over. This video's in 60 frames per second. Yes, I boosted it up. I figured out how to do that in OBS. I think I have everything running. Hopefully, I'm going to be rendering in 60 frames per second. Everything here, 60 frames per second. From now on, I'm going to upload in 60 FPS, just because I kind of want to see what effect it has on the videos that we make. So, from now on, I just want to move to 60 FPS. We're going to the future. And you know what? I say that now. However, it's going to be probably another 4 or 5 years before we move to 4K or like 2160p gaming. So, yeah, you've been warned. You've been warned that we'll move to that. And one thing I'm not really sure on YouTube about 60 FPS is if you have to watch the video at 60 frames per second, or if you can just do HD without that. I don't remember. I think you can't. You have to literally watch it in 60 frames per second on HD. But yeah, because I'm not sure how you downsample. That would be... Well, I mean, you could. It would just be streaming. All right, but there we go. Yeah, Empress of Ireland sitting on the bottom of the ocean. Kind of beautiful, actually, this disaster here. I'm glad that we waited for the end of that. So yeah, let's move on to our next ship here. This one is called the Empress of Britain. And yes, it is in this putrid teal color because the guide that I found online, well, I say guide, it was more like the picture I found online said that it was this color. And I was like, all right, go with it. I mean, it looks ugly, in my opinion. I'm sorry, I just offended like 10,000 Empress of Britain fans right here, but this isn't my key color here. I'm not a huge fan of this. Let me get to piercing this. So, the story behind this ship is actually that it was successful, and that not many people died aboard it. So it's probably the happiest of the big ships that we've built recently. And what happened to this is that in World War II, it was serving as a transport. No, it was actually it was serving for the purposes of the British government, and I think there was like a conspiracy that it was transporting gold to the United States. And anyway, it was found by like a Luftwaffe bomber pilot dude, and then he bombed the crap out of it, and the thing started on fire. And so then they contacted the Allies. They came and tried towing it, but then a U-boat came and was like, "All right, you're not getting away from us!" Pew pew pew, and missiles and explosions and other things happened, and essentially the thing sunk. If I recall correctly, they just were like, "All right, this thing's sinking to the bottom, so there's nothing else we can do." And then some people went out and searched for the gold for the longest time. I'm not sure you know, I think it was salvaged at some point, and they actually did get the gold out of it. I think when they were towing it, there was a conspiracy that they had gotten the gold out then, and then it was transported to the United States, because apparently getting gold to the United States was a big thing during that time. Well, I mean, historically, yes, the United States was, you know, financing Britain in the time of war and funding them to build their military weaponry. Because, you know, when you think the United States, you always think, oh, the guy who credits death. And I mean, that's apparently what we do, actually. If we just let Europe get devastated, just the whole thing blown to pieces, and we come in, hey, you want to rebuild? Go for another round, eh? We'll come and blow up the place, and then you can borrow money from us to fix it. It's the United States for you. Yeah, history. Oh, darn. It's, the United States is such a devastating history. I know I'm going to get so much harsh criticism for that, but, you know, it's true. It's true. So yeah, as far as actual YouTube stuff goes, we just finished the Bridge Constructor series this week, which was fantastic. I do recommend you all to go out and watch my other series. I know I never say that enough, but it would be fantastic if you could go and watch something like Software Inc. or just something, you know, just watch any one of my other videos. And if you do already, thanks a lot, actually. Just thank you so much. And another thing I want to ask you guys, if I actually included webcams in those other series, would you be more willing to watch them? I've always been worried about doing that because I don't think that webcams are like a huge thing. But then I realized that all of the biggest YouTubers use webcams. Like, PewDiePie uses a webcam. But I mean, who really watches PewDiePie anyway, right? Well, I mean, is PewDiePie really a real YouTuber? I'm gonna get so much hate for this. I can't believe I'm doing this, but so yeah, I just, you know, I realized that all of the big gaming YouTubers actually do use webcams. So tell me down below, should I use the webcams in more of my videos? Does it make me seem more personable? Is that a good thing? Is that something we want from the series? And yet again, I've realized that I've actually accidentally punctured in the bottom right corner again. It's devastating. But there is one more thing that I do want to do, because I don't do it that often, and, you know, I guess I will, I'll give it to you guys. So we'll spawn in the ship, all right, and we are going to pierce from, you know, more than just that. We're gonna give it right down the middle, all right. We're gonna make it look like I guess a U-boat had just shot a torpedo at it or something, and we're gonna stick off of that methodology here, and we're gonna see what happens. You know, I'm gonna show you why I don't like doing it from the middle. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just trying to say my rationale for why I don't typically do this. Oh, well, actually, never mind. It's pretty successful. I thought it was going to be kind of boring, but actually the thing broke apart pretty much instantaneously. I don't even have strength that low, and the thing broke apart. That's pretty cool. Never mind. You guys were right. Breaking it from the middle isn't that bad, because, I mean, look at how effortless that was to make that look so cool. I mean, that's a wallpaper right now. I should make, like, my own proper custom wallpapers for Sinking Simulator. I'm virtually... And I know I'm saying this as a humongous generalization, but I am virtually the only person on the face of this planet who actively builds ships that are replicas of actual, like, real ships, and this huge scale. I'm not saying that, like, I'm the only person that's making these, but I'm the only one doing it on this scale, which is kind of crazy to say. I'm not sure if that's what the reputation I want to have is. I don't want to be able to walk up to people and say, hey, I'm the guy who builds 2D replicas of famous sinking disasters. You know me. That's the one thing I do. Yeah, I don't know if that's great to say or not, but yeah, I do think I'm the only person doing it, so pretty cool to me. You know, all those other YouTubers who get, like, hundreds of thousands of views for these kind of videos, I mean, all they're really doing is pirating from my work here, right? Obviously, I made most of these ships, and I'm gonna go to every one of those other YouTuber channels, and I'm gonna tell them that they're using my ships, that everything they're doing was because of me! Well, I guess not, actually. I mean, you know, we can always talk about it. Actually, most of it was Francis Arasico, actually. Like, he had the whole inspiration behind the game and everything, and, you know, you gotta give a lot of credit to him. That's why, well, I don't think, actually. There used to be an ad fly to this game, and I think he used to actually make the profits off of it. I'm not sure if that still exists. Francis. I say Fred. Oh, Fred's the developer. Francis, if you're watching, please tell me, are you still making money from this game, man? Because you totally should be. This game is incredible. I mean, to have an active community on something that is a failed Indiegogo project is pretty incredible, in my opinion. So, Yeah, this is a lot of fun playing around with the Empress of Britain, Empress of Ireland. Please tell me what other ships to make. I would love to know, so I can include those in future episodes of Sinking Simulator. Make sure you watch next week's vlog. It'll be about the creation of real life Sinking Simulator, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you tell me whether or not you want to see that actual documentary, because that'll be pretty awesome. So yeah. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, make sure you click that red subscribe button down below. You guys know where that subscribe button is. Come on. Come on. I know you know it's there. Just click it for me. Please. Please, click it for me. We're trying to get to 100,000. That's actually the real goal behind this thing. And, yeah. Make sure you give us a thumb. Tell us how we're doing. My name is Steven Marcateros, and I will see you guys next time.